Okay, guys, I'm gonna smoke another cigar while I tell you about this. And so I'm walking down this hill on Mars. A disturbance. The main terrestrial species who should have been there went there. Like 911, they went there. Police showed up after them, stopped the bus from the music. Anyway, see, I can't even make this up. I did it um, I have two friends that are schizophrenic, and that's I can't like this isn't schizo shit. Like this is real shit, right? So I'm saving out so many details that you guys don't even need. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I see the leaders down there, and I just ground. I remember going down there and I did a brief ceremony. Ooh. 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 I did it in a certain number of frequencies in a certain way and every time I did that, the water lit up. And the parents, the leaders to my right, that had their feet in the water, um, they stood up out of the water and they looked at each other and they reminded me of two doves, like mourning doves, and they're just so beautiful, man. And um, they just felt my love. And every time I did my thing, the water lit up and went away with it, and it lit up and went away with it. And I did a lot. I at that point I called in what I was. I did my work, you know what I mean? And the two parents, I'll call them the parents, the leaders, the parents. They were the parents of that whole family. Started walking up to me. I faced them and I bowed in a certain way, you know what I mean? And I was like, it's okay. And they pointed up, like, the father pointed up towards the police and he says, they have no business being here. Ralam, I'm sorry, they were sort of interfering with the energy work the family was trying to do. I went, oh, you're right, sir. I walked sort of where the hill incline got steep. I said, this is mine. You guys are, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, you could go on, this is mine. I told them, this is mine. And they went, okay. And the one guy came down and he appeared and I had to do my greeting with him, whatever. I said, this is mine. Like, and there you don't have to explain yourself energetically. You have like trillions of senses and abilities that people don't have here yet. And when people think I'm weird here, it's because I have those here. And everywhere else I go. And they went, and they're in their vehicles, and they went on. Once they were gone, I walked down a little ways and I set up an energy barrier. I basically put up a fence around us so I could do what I wanted to do. And the parents are very thankful. As if a parent protected another parent's child or family. And the parents they didn't know what the fuck to do about this water situation. I had no idea I just knew it was mine. So I told him, I just sent him energy like, hey, just relax. It's fine. I'm here. And they went back and they just sat there and right up against each other, sitting there. Like they're just sitting there as one entity. The mother and the father, and they sat there. It was gorgeous. I just looked at the family. I was like, this is the most gorgeous family I've ever seen. Like, this is just like, I just jaw dropped. That's all you could do at Mars is just jaw drop at beauty. I was looking at this whole family, messing with the water, and there was the next one in line. There's children there. The next one, that to my left, from them two dreadies I was talking about, right? Them dready dudes. The guy dunked himself in the water. I sent out my signal to the water and lit him up. Since he got all the way under the water, I wanted him to see. And he looked at me, and he just went under. And he came like out of the water, and he just stood there like he was not like on different planets. They don't care about what you think about each other. They just do their thing, and you're together. You're together in ways you're not together on Earth. And he came out and just walked up, and he started walking up off on the beach. So yeah, he was the biggest dude. He looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger, except he was the color like they're pitch black, but humans. But they're not built like Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're built different. And let me explain this real quickly. They didn't body build for entertainment purposes like Schwarzenegger did. They were just naturally built from what they did. And what they did was they lived on the ocean there. They're the ocean swimmers, and they work with the octopus energy. This whole thing is about this octopus energy I'm about to share with you guys. The Mars octopus energy is what this whole video is all about. Octopus energy from Mars. Ooh. Their back muscles right here have a whole different I'm trying to think of how this is. It's a whole muscular system humans don't have on their back, because how they have to swim down, because they swim down this family, this species of terrestrial Mars people that are the color pitch black. They have to face down and swim while facing down, like in an upright position, sort of facing down, and they just use those back muscles to swim down into the ocean to connect with the octopi. The octopi are sort of like God on Mars. Let me think how to say this. They're basic. God, what is God? I shouldn't say God because that's so vague. The spirit. The true spirit God of Mars is octopi. Not how we think of octopi, though. It's an interdimensional octopi. And this is a terrestrial species that has to swim down to the bottom of the ocean. So their back muscles are... It almost looks like they have a backpack on each of their things right here. But it's not... Their muscles are not built like ours. They have different muscles on their backs. Just... And you get built, right? Well, they have that, and it almost looks like they have like a little kid's backpack on each one, but it's just completely cut muscle from them swimming down. That's what they do full time. Is they do that. That's what they do. And they are built like it. So these dudes are sitting here, but they have like these like huge muscles. besides just being completely cut beyond, like almost like Schwarzenegger anyway. So that's what they look like on Mars. Like a terrestrial species on Mars looks just like that. They're fucking, but they like on like a human on Earth would gaunt that. Like, look at me. It's not like that. They don't care. Like on other places, no one cares what each other thinks about each other, and what we look like does not, it is has nothing to do with how we're programmed here to think about, to judge people, or you know what I mean. There's nothing like that there. So these people are just sitting there. I mean, it's neat to be with them. Let me say that. It's really neat to be with them and be close with them. You know, it's neat to be with people like that. And I went and greeted the two parents. I went down to them and they're sitting there, and I got close to them, you know, and did my thing. I'm gonna save out like all the details, guys. I'm trying to get through this real quick. Sorry. They were there. Walk up to them because obviously I'm gonna greet with them. First, I briefly greeted with everyone. I hollered at them all the way down. The one dude that just got out of the water that I shocked, he walked up and he just looked at me and was like, "Thank you, Rom." You know, like, and it's like, "It's okay. Are you okay?" He goes, like, basically, go talk to mom and dad. Go talk to them. And I was like, "Well, of course I am." And he was almost in shock. I almost put him in shock because when he went under the water with my eye contact and connection, I shocked it wasn't electric shock, but I put the energy through the water. I brought it. I work with the white light, and I did the others. I greeted them and went down. I just walked down the beach to the parents. Oh, I should write an entire book on just the next, like, 10 minute, 20, the time I spent with the parents there. We did several. When you do ceremony, when you work with these type of energies, they just flow when it's time for them to flow. You don't premeditate that you're gonna do shit. They just flow. When you do real ceremony, when it's like a relationship. You don't force anything. When it's there, it's there. When it's not, it's not. Okay, and when I was with these parents, um, we did some shit. We did a lot of shit. We did a bunch of stuff. Not just one thing. We did quite a few. And I gifted them gifts, and they gifted me gifts of energies we don't have terminology to explain. This was saying I should just write a book on that, right? Oh, it's gorgeous. It was literal magic. A lot of it would be considered magic, and I'm not gonna say it wrong. I'm gonna leave it out because I don't think people are ready to hear about that kind of shit. Cause I mean, it went into things I don't think a lot of people are ready to hear. Maybe after this, maybe I could do a deeper. I'm gonna do a deeper detail one, and I'll explain things. I'll actually explain some things. You know what I mean? But so from there, I made an analysis of the situation, and so all the information that I have from connecting with that family and the parents is the depthful information. I'm gonna do in a different series of the more depthful, meaningful stuff, where a lot of the technology that I pull back from these places, guys, that's where I get it. And it comes from me. I bring it from here to there, do it there, where my soul remembers it, and I bring it back here. And that's where this information shit comes from, guys, is that kind of stuff, that type of technology, that type of ceremony, that type of energy work, that type of ability. When I go do these kind of things and then come back here, when I'm there, I bring it there. From here to there. And then when I come back here, I remember Claire's right now, like, how to do this. And that's where this stuff comes from. So the information, a lot of the information that I want to share that's very, very depthful. Okay. Comes from, like, right in this moment I'm speaking of. So, of course I get in the water. I go right in the water. I start walking towards the cavern entrance. And long story short, the parents were basically like, we can't get in there. No one could go through there. We can't get through there. This is as far as we could go. And we work with them every day full time in the ocean. And we can't go in there because it's so intense in there. They're doing something. The octopi are doing something in that cavern. And this cavern is it's a river going through a cavern in that mountainous thing. And we did more ceremony. The most gorgeous shit I have ever experienced in my life happened right there when I was about waist deep in that water with the two parents. That sounds a little weird, and it's weirder than that. Okay, so a lot of technology. I updated them. I uploaded them with some technologies there. Let's say that, and they uploaded. That sounds really weird. That don't even sound right from, like, human to human. That sounds like really off. I'm sorry, but yeah, we exchanged information. We evolved a lot. Oh, and ways we don't have ways to explain, but there's ways here on Earth. We do have terminology to explain some of these things, and I'm not gonna leave that here because it's so depthful. I gotta make sure that technology goes to the right people only. Okay. It's like that. And it is really, really like that. So after that whole shit, I did one with the family. And I went up to this dude. I want to tell you about this one dude. The one right next to them, the dude came up through the water like he was out of it, and he was pitch black. But, like, if you're white, like, I'm white, like, don't. This is not a race thing. Like, color doesn't matter, like, everywhere, except for here to some people's minds who don't have a soul. But I don't understand that at all. But anyway, this dude comes up to me. I mean, I'm looking at black. And, like, if you're white and you paint your face like a skeleton, this is the dark one this is the black sheep of the family that just walked up to me. I told him to come here. I said, come here. And he came, and it looked like he had a turtle shell on his back. Like a life-size, human-size turtle shell of some sort. But, like, if I was white, I'm painting my face like a skeleton, I would do, like, black and a black nose and, like, black teeth and, like, a thing. Well, he was black, and he did it in white. But it was, like, tattooed. He's permanently this way, guys. Like, you know, this is not face paint. This is a terrestrial. He's been alive since Mars has been alive. And he comes in this white, like just perfectly outlined his whole shit. Instead of it being like black, and he has some type of, and this dude, his hair, his fingers, everything about him was like this, guys. Okay, so now I'm looking at something that would give, if you were to see this guy, 99.99% of y'all would have a heart attack and die in fear. I walked up to him and I levitated him into the biggest hug I could give someone. I was just like, I fucking love you. You know what I mean? Like, that was when I actually, had to guard myself from hurting him with my emotions, because I started to hurt him with my love energy. Like, I am scared of no thing anywhere. And I almost hurt him with love. Like, it wasn't like a defense mechanism. I just wanted him to feel like, I feel you, dude. Like, I am wrong, you know, I am what I am. And I just I wanted him to, I uploaded him with the ability to feel the depth of my energy and my emotional love, because he was snarling. He was loud. And we spent time together. And he wanted to go deeper into the water. And I said, come out of it a little bit. So we're like, you know, less than knee deep. And he stood there and turned his back on me and showed me his shell. And it was these little skulls with all their hair, all the hair of all the skulls. It was a collage. His shell was a collage of these skulls about this big, like softball sized skulls. And all the hair of all of them were just dreadlock matted. They were matted over eons of time. The hair was still there, and his shell was skulls, and all the hair was matted together into a shell that he connected to himself. And okay, so now I'm looking at this shell, and he goes, and turns his head 180 degrees backwards. So I'm looking in his shell, and he's facing away from me, and then his head turns all the way around and is looking at me. Start talking this language. Like fucking, like demonic. And he went into it, and I pulled him. I was like, come here, walk. Like, we're right with each other. I just pulled him to me. I was like, let's follow me, brother. Follow me. I have the way. I told him I have the way. Follow me. Like, follow me. I walked him about halfway that distance to his mother and his father. And, did my thing. Anyway, I pulled him out to where we're about waist deep, to where his shell isn't going to get wet. I said, I don't want your shell to get wet. And it was a sign of respect, because his shell gets real heavy when it's in the water. It takes a long time for all that water to drain out of all those skulls. And I wanted to sort of protect his shell because it was beautiful. I didn't want to get the shell wet. But I brought him right to the bottom of the shell. And we had a session together. We had some time together, you know what I mean? And I was like, tell me, teach me. What, like, give me everything you got. I'm gonna, like, I will contribute. You know what I mean? I will overly contribute. Thank you. And we spent a lot of time together. I went back and addressed. We did that. I went back and addressed the mother and the father. And they said, "No one, we can't get in there. Like, help us." I was like, no, even. So I was like, cool. I did my thing, and I just jumped, dove in towards the cavern entrance, and I go there. I swim there, and there's no bottom once I dove in. There was no bottom I could touch, so I'm swimming. And I was like, "Oh, it's actually further than I thought." Like, I'm going into this cavern, swimming all by myself, and this terrestrial species on Mars can't even get any closer than that. I didn't. I don't, you know what I mean? I was just like, "I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go do that." I'm like, thank you, like everyone, thank you. Here we go. Swim in there. I go in the cavern. I'm at 25 minutes again. Shit, I didn't even say it. I'm gonna just keep going. Hopefully, this won't freeze on us. And there's that. Long story short, I swim into the cavern. It's a cavern with a lake in it. It's hollow inside that mountain. There's a platform there that brings me, nearly waist deep, and I start walking to it, and it's marble, and it's cut precision 90 degrees, and it felt like marble with like 2-3 foot of water on it, and there's not a flow. It's sitting still. So I'm inside this cavern, and as I made that swim, the octopi presented themselves to me. They're God. They're an aspect of God. Let's say that. And if you mix 2 parts purple to 1 part pink, and then made it that 50% translucent clear, like glass, that's what these octopus are. So they're like purple, pink mixed together, but 50% of that is clear. But you could still see them. They're interdimensional. That's when you see interdimensionalism, you'll see right through them. You'll see right through them, but you'll see them as much as you don't see them. And they do that on purpose. It's not a gimmick. That's just the nature of the beast. Like, you could smack yourself in the face. You could see through interdimensionalism when you're occupying all dimensions at once. So I'm working with an aspect of God, and they're octopus. They're purplish pink octopus. And they don't have to just swim in the water. They don't have to fly when they're in the air. They could be half in the water and half out and do whatever they want. They could move however they want. They could go out of the water. They could go in the water. They have energies I'm not going to go into detail about. And as I dove into that water, I was with them. As soon as I dove in, let me backtrack. As soon as I dove into the water, I was with them. And I was alone. That's when I was alone. I progressed everything that Mars could even handle. I was alone, facing this thing. Whatever it was mine. That's all I knew. It was mine. That was my situation that I was going to work with and deal with for the benefit of Mars. And there's octopi. An octopi situation, which is the god, basically, of Mars. So I dive in there. I'm alone. I was like, fear is not in the equation. And like gawking bravery or a vulgar display of power that someone would feel on Earth doing something like this was not in the equation. It wasn't a chore. It was a blessing to me. You know what I mean? Like Amarala Malua. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just what I do. And I go in there. I step on the marble floor that's covered in a couple feet of water that goes into this cavern. There's not a flow to it, but there's an energy pulling me into it. Meanwhile, I've already dealt with octopi gods going into it. And when I went through the threshold of that thing, it was sealed in an energetic way we don't have words to explain. I could. It would take a half hour to even explain how that place sealed when I penetrated the cavern, how it sealed, and I stood on that marble floor that was covered in 3 feet of water. It was there. You're in it. You're not getting out of that. You have to go all the way through it, and no one who's ever went through it, they can't do it. They're unable. I'm at 31 minutes and 11 seconds. 3, 1, 1, 1. So I'm going to stop this and I'm going to finish the octopi thing because, see, this just takes a while to explain. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'll be back in a second. I will finish this up in the next half hour. And this is the vague stuff. This is none of the technologies. This is none of the details. This is, you know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to do this at the end of every video in case someone doesn't say, ooh. I'll be right back.